So this is my 2016 Honda Accord Coupe V6 EXL. Got two, well, I guess this is the CP212-W0v3 BassWedge. So it comes with two JL Audio W0v3 12-inch speakers. They have 300 watts RMS each, making this 600 watts RMS total. It is ported, but as you can see, it's a slot, so it's not like a big port right in the middle or a big circle in the back. Nothing like that. As you can see, it fits perfectly in my Accord. That was one big problem I was thinking of having. I didn't have to put down the seats or nothing like that. You just kind of have to fit it in here sideways to get it in right. But I just wanted to go over the setup for this, and this might help others, and this might even help me, because I think for the first time, there's got to be something that I did wrong. The main thing I'm thinking of is these taps in my rear speaker decks, but we'll get to that later. Let's just get to the video. So starting with my power wire, I got it plugged right here. Runs pretty close to the negative terminal, honestly, but my fuse is just sitting right here. It's not bolted or anything. It doesn't have tape. It sits pretty tight anyways. There's zip ties all over here, but I did put on this hosing. So it goes through this top part near my hood and down into the wheel well. So I do not have a fender liner at the moment, which I have ordered, but even after, this should fit perfectly fine. You can see that hose wrapped wire comes over here. I tried to zip tie it as much as I could to keep it from snagging on anything or being as far as possible from the wheel. And it goes into this top grommet here. So I'm gonna go inside the car and show you where that's at. So here's that top grommet, and I'll show you a little bit better of where I am in a second, but there's one grommet there at the bottom, one in the middle, and one at the top. That top grommet doesn't have anything in it originally, so you can just cut it out as thick as you need for your gauge of wire and slide it on through there. There probably is better grommets maybe hidden behind all of this, but I did not bother looking, honestly. So as you can see, that wire feeds down into this part right here. We're gonna have this plastic trim that has your trunk or your hood lever, and runs down, you can actually see it there, along here on this door trim, through this trim right here, which, remember, this is a coupe, so there's only the two doors, and you don't have to take this whole part off. You can kind of just pry underneath as you need. You can see it doesn't go far down, so you can just pry up here and kind of shove that wire under. Let me pop this seat down real quick. Ignore these wires for now, but my power wire runs up here and along this rear seat. So these are somewhat simple to lift up. It's not the easiest, but you kind of have to go from the back. There's probably a better way to do it, but I would pry here in the back, and let me see if you can see. One hand is kind of hard to do, but there is a red power wire that runs along there, goes through the back. You can fold these seats down and slide over there. So it comes out from those back seats. You can pull this and push them forward while you're still back here so it doesn't lock again, to give them a little bit more of a gap so you can see where you should put it through. And just goes underneath of my speaker so you don't see as much of the wire, and goes right in here to the 12 volts. Now the ground, I'm gonna show you what spot I use, and I'm gonna try to do it without even stopping the video. But this whole panel here, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 clips that hold it. So you can kind of come down here and just pop that. Like a really janky trunk cover, so ignore that, but there you go, pops right out. Super simple to get in and out. And there's actually a factory ground right here, so let me flip the camera around, see if you can see it any better. Move that back. But yeah, this is my ground wire right here, and it's on there really tight. I did measure with a multimeter. It had pretty good, or pretty low resistance, I should say. So just pop this back in real quick to show you how simple that should be. So you gotta get it in the right spot. First I gotta lift this floorboard here. There you go. And then align it and just pop it right back in. There you go. So now it's in there tight enough. What's next? I'm gonna do the tap. So now here is what I ended up doing. I do have I believe JL-C2 525Xs in both of these left and rear speakers, but I mean, it's the same thing. You're just grabbing an audio signal from them, I have 18 gauge wire here, and I forgot to say my positive and ground are both 4 gauge, but here I have 18 gauge. This is maybe a little bit thinner than 18, so a larger gauge, but it still seems to work fine. I just use these Posi-taps tapped into the right positive and negative terminal. On here it says it for my speaker. There are other ways to test. You can see that on other videos online, and same with the Posi-taps. But I run that the wire, also this other one here. I just ran it along this top part, tapped in right there. I run it into my LC Direct right here. So it says on these wires, you see front right, front left, positive, negative. And I just soldered the connections and put some heat shrink on them. That's why it looks a little bit bulgy. But I have that in there. And when you're using this LC Direct, when you're keeping your stock head unit and you want to just tap into your speakers, you want to connect to this LC Direct and then also set your input level to high. And another thing you can do is put your trigger mode to GTO. I believe it's, I forget what exactly it stands for, but basically when you turn your car on and off, this amplifier and everything else will also shut off by itself. It just senses it, so it's really easy. You don't have to run an extra wire for that signal. And I guess the last thing, other than this bass knob that we have, is my output for my sub. So I just got the positive and negative here, and I run that on over. Just coupled up the wire a bit because I have a lot of extra wire into these push terminals, and I just have straight copper grabbing that. As you can see here, I put ferrules on all these connections. They actually help a lot and it makes it look a bit cleaner. But these are Allen wrenched in, so I mean they're really tight in there. Well, that one actually doesn't look so. It's all right, but yeah, these are push, so it's not going to hold that ferrule very well at all. But and then the bass knob, it's simple. I just plugged it in here. I kind of ran it the same way I did with the power wire, and I have it sitting actually in my rear cup holder at the moment because I want to find the better spot to mount it before I do all that. But yeah, try and maybe find some royalty free music to play on here so you can see how it sounds, and we'll do that.